going to do another example now, that's following an object in the sky. So, I've got a shot here of an aeroplane, as you can see, as it flies around. Wasn't managing to hold the camera very steady, so I want to try and stabilise that shot. It's moving around an awful lot. So, click stabilise. I'm then going to take this tracker and I'm going to stick it over the nose cone. Just zoom in a bit with the mouse wheel so I can resize that little box over the front of the aeroplane. Zoom out so I can see what happens and start tracking. And it's, oh, lost it completely. Why has it lost it completely? Basically, I'm going to click reset and do it again. What's actually happening here, if I set this back up again, because the shot's moving around so much, it starts tracking the front of it, but I'm only saying look in this section here. And it's barely tracking the front section there, and as soon as I move on a bit, the plane moves straight out of the box. So as soon as it moves out of this box, it can't track it anymore. That's why it goes wrong straight away. Best result is make it a bit bigger. Now making the region here a bit bigger to track is actually going to take longer, but with any luck we'll get a better result. So let's just make it quite big and click go. And yeah, it's off and it's tracking, and it is quite slow, but it's doing a better track. And having tried to track this shot in several ways, I can tell you unless I make that area really big like that, it doesn't track properly at all. And it's gone slightly doodle-lally there still. So let's move back to where it went wrong. Reorganise the target. It's very difficult. You've got to be careful here, because if you accidentally grab any of these points, you'll be changing the stuff you've already tracked. So you've got to make sure you grab it in an area where there isn't a point, and then carry on tracking. Oh, lost it again. Let's go back a couple of frames, and we'll move that back over my aeroplane. You notice how part of my problem here is the fact that I am using standard definition, and it's actually quite low resolution. You probably will get a better track on high definition footage. It might take longer, but it's sharper, there's more for it to grab onto. But here I'm using a very fuzzy shot of an aeroplane in the sky. Now you might say I've done a few adjustments there. Yep, it's true. It's not 100% automatic. It does vary depending on your footage. My footage has even got some glitches in it. But there we are, I've finished the tracking. So I'm going to click apply, X and Y, OK, and now let's play the results. So I've gone there from what was a massively moving shot to a pretty static aeroplane. Of course it's going frantic around the edges, but it has steadied the aeroplane an awful lot, which considering how much it was moving is quite amazing. Now I've got the problem of filling in the edges. You notice all the black stuff around here, so how can I do that? Well, as before, add in a new camera, turn the original layer into a 3D layer, open up the camera, go to the transform, zoom in using the Z value, and then move the thing across and see if that covers it. Not quite, still got a problem here at the start. I have to zoom in a bit more, I'm afraid. Move it across a bit more, move it down. But now, static aeroplane flying across the screen, practically static. Now another alternative to zooming in, which works, but obviously the more you zoom in the more the picture quality deteriorates, is to find some way of filling up these edges. Now one way of doing it is to take the original picture and then just use this extra spare sky to fill up the edges. So I've zoomed in a little bit, and now I want to actually fill in these black areas with something else. So I'm going to do that by taking the shot and then bunging it on top of itself. So I'm going to select the layer and then Control D, and that will duplicate it. The new version's on the top. I'm going to name it Sky, so I just know what I'm doing. Select the name, press enter and type something. This layer I'm going to be called Tracked, so press enter and call it Tracked, just so I know which is which. And then I'm going to come up to the sky level, go to the transform, and this is what the motion tracker has done. It's moving the anchor point around, so I'm going to turn that off. Now basically I have not got this thing moving around. I'm going to move the sky so it's all in the centre, so it's filling up the screen. Now if I have a look at the composition now, you can see I've actually blotted out the track layer and I've just got the original one left. I want to then chop a hole in this so I can see the track thing around. Because I want to keep the edges but get rid of the middle. So to do that, come up to the drawing tool and choose the oval and draw a rough oval across the top of it. That then creates a mask. Now, having dragged through that after creating the mask, you can say, hang on, that's completely wrong. I've still got black borders, but now my aeroplane's wobbling around. What's happened? Well, if I come over to the track header here, you can see I've got these little eyes. I'm going to turn off the tracked one. So all I can see right now is my sky layer, and you can see by putting that mask on it, I can see the centre, not the edges. I want it the other way around. I want the edges and not the centre. I want the centre to be my tracked version. So, come down to here and open it up. Get a mask and click on this, inverted. There we are. Now you can see I've got edge sky and a hole in the middle. And with any luck, through that hole in the middle, I'm going to see my aeroplane. So turn the track layer back on and there it is. There's my aeroplane and I've got some sky around it. Now there might still be a fairly harsh join between the top sky and the bottom sky, so open up the sky layer, go to the mask and go to where it says feather, and that fuzzes the edges up a bit, and just put a bit of a fuzz on it. Then people probably won't notice the join. To be honest, couldn't see it much in the first place because pretty much the sky in the background is the same, but now having done that, probably can't see the join. It's a definite Ernie Weiss moment. Just another possible alternative way of filling up the edges as opposed to zooming it into it completely.